Hey, come here. It's about time we talk about anxiety. Where does it come from? From an evolutionary perspective, anxiety has been kind of helpful. Our ancestors needed to be alert and prepared for potential danger in order to survive. It's where our fight or flight response comes from, and we can dig into that a little deeper in another video. But the short version is that our bodies perceive threats, release certain hormones, and switch up our body's functions, ready to either fight the danger or run away from it. You've probably experienced this. Maybe you've stepped out into a road and not seen a car coming, but then as soon as you spot that car, you jump back straight away. And because of that inbuilt reaction, you were able to jump out of the way quickly without having to even think about it, so that you're still here to watch this video. Let's think about how we can recognize anxiety in ourselves. Because of our fight or flight response, you might notice some really physical signs like sweating or feeling sick or a racing heart. It might be that you catch yourself actively avoiding certain situations, places, activities, people, or maybe you notice that you worry more than usual about everyday events or situations. And I'm talking about like a proper panic rather than just feeling a little bit worried. So what's the difference between general nervousness and full-blown anxiety? We all worry about stuff. It's okay. It's part of being human. But anxiety is like that feeling turned up to the max and generally lasts for a longer time. Now remember that I mentioned the fight or flight response and that example of jumping back away from the car. In that example, it's a very clear threat right there and then that causes that reaction. Maybe you're facing a big exam or you've got to do some public speaking. It's easy to see how you might start to sweat in those scenarios, right? But with anxiety, there's not always a clear, obvious reason to point to. You might feel like something bad is going to happen, or like you're not good enough, or that people aren't going to like you. And you might get those physical symptoms like feeling sick. Or maybe you find it really hard to do everyday things like going to school or hanging out with your friends or even just getting out of bed in the morning. So while everyone feels nervous from time to time, anxiety is when those feelings start to get super intense and take over your life. So I just want to leave you with 3 things that can help with anxiety. Number 1, exercise. Now, if you hate gym class as much as I did, you will be sick of hearing this, but exercise is great. It releases endorphins that boost your mood whilst reducing stress hormones, and it also helps you sleep better, which is going to help you beyond just managing anxiety. There's also a theory that we need to do something very physical in reaction to our body's fight or flight response in order to help us feel like the danger is past and that we're safe again. Which leads me on to number 2, breathing techniques. Taking some slow, deep breaths helps to kick your parasympathetic nervous system into gear, which basically tells your body that everything is chill and you can relax. Try breathing in for a count of 4, holding it for 4, and then exhaling for a count of 8. That's 9 for a count of 8. Another one that you can try is breathing in through your nose and then breathing again in through your nose before you breathe out. This double breath also apparently really helps if you're doing long distance running. So bonus points for those of you at home who are using this to exercise as well. And number 3, keep a journal. Get stuff out of your head and onto a page. Once it's out there in the real world, you can look back over those words and it can help you detangle those thoughts that anxiety gets you all caught up in. Doesn't have to make sense, doesn't have to look pretty. I sometimes just scribble all over the page if that's what it feels like in my brain. And if you really want to be a star pupil, try journaling 3 things that you're grateful for every single day. It can literally start to rewire your brain to start looking for positive things every day rather than just looking up for threats. So once you understand anxiety, where it comes from, how to spot it, and you've got a few things to try in your toolkit, it means that you're a little bit more prepared to help yourself or a pal manage anxiety and stop it from taking over your life. You've got this, and we're right here with you. And if you want more good stuff, visit hatw.co.uk.